cops.
I want to
And
talk about Alex Jones a little
all
longer.
felons.
That place is deep water, and I'm
how does
loving
that
it.
work? How do you actually?
I'm
is this one of those
concerned about
things?
it.
What did Alex do to you?
He
Other
touched
than
me in my
entertain you
naughty
for all these
spot.
years.
Oh, we got to get Woody to get his payout.
Here's the problem I have with what happened there. It's not that
Okay.
Alex Jones got in a heap of trouble because whatever what he said.
Because they're after all our First Amendment rights.
It really is that though, because if
I knew it. I fucking knew it. It's on every right wing conspiracy.
Watch the video of his lawyer, or not his lawyer, the plaintiff's lawyer, saying that he wants them to award as much damage as possible so that it takes out InfoWars permanently. He made it about shutting down InfoWars, not punishing Alex Jones. To me, that says this is about crushing dissent. This is not about punishing Alex.
Crushing dissent?
Yes.
This guy made a business out of saying that these were child actors.
No. He already had the
parents were lying. He sold supplements and made a wealthy man out of himself.
Sam.
He told his followers to harass the surviving parents of the children. And they were at the parents' house giving them shit, harassing them, haranguing them.
That's horrible.
On his direction.
This is not about punishing him. This is about taking out InfoWars.
How it's a fine against Alex Jones.
It's a fine against Alex Jones that is targeting the assets of Alex Jones, which include the lawyer said it, dude. The lawyer said we should be taking out.
But you're acting like it's about punishing dissent. Instead, it's actually about punishing Alex Jones.
No,
they're not after everybody else who's talking. They're after Alex Jones and only Alex Jones.
Because he's the first target. This is not.
Oh, is he the first target?
It's going to be Alex Jones, and then it's going to be Libertarian
Carlson next,
and it's going to be Tucker Carlson. Like that's who it's going to be next. And Call it slippery slope all you want. That is what it is. You don't think we're sitting there in 1933 going, all right, we're going to take out someone acceptable first and then try and link people to them? It's exactly what they did. It is the playbook. It's in Saul Alinsky's playbook, Rules for Radicals. The whole thing is mapped out. This is what they do.
What I'm hearing is they're taking out someone who's acceptable, but you're not okay with this because you're worried that somewhere down the line they'll take out someone who's not acceptable.
I'm worried that that's where it's leading. Yes. I'm worried.
I think if we take out people who are acceptable, we don't have a problem.
But the whole point is to start it with someone who everyone's kind of
like. Your argument is we need to keep this guy on the air. Okay, we can punish him a little bit, but we don't want to lose InfoWars. That'd be a problem.
No,
we need to keep this guy.
Don't reframe my argument. That's not what I said.
I think I'm pretty much on target here. You said they're going after InfoWars, and that's your chief complaint.
That is my complaint, is that they're going after InfoWars deliberately, not just Alex Jones. If they were trying to punish Alex Jones, the money would have been way lower.
So you're saying Alex Jones is not InfoWars?
That is what I'm saying. InfoWars is an entire company owned
by Alex Jones.
Sure.
He's the only thing I know about InfoWars.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. It's essentially Alex Jones.
Hey, Gwyneth Paltrow's company that sells pills is the same fucking pills. I'm not even kidding. They're the same pills. Gwyneth Paltrow sells them. Joe Rogan sells them. Alex Jones sells them. They all renamed and repackaged
the pill company.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't own the pill company.
I just read it today.
He contracts the pill company.
He owns
the branding for the pills he sells. He is not the guy who owns the supplement company. That is the same company that supplies Gwyneth Paltrow with her shit. It's the same pills.
It's funny because I read it today, and look, I'm only as good as my sources. It could be wrong, but it said he owns the pill company, and the pill company is transferring its money into a trust, and the trust is named after Alex Jones' initials.
You are talking about the branding of Alex Jones' pill company.
What does it matter?
They buy the pills
separate
from someone
financial entity. I don't care how they contract the pills.
They buy the pills from someone else. That's the point.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yes, it does. It's not Alex Jones's pill company. You're saying
they might outsource the manufacturing. That doesn't mean it's not
everyone else is selling the pills.
They outsource the manufacturing. This doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make it not his pill company. It is.
No, the supplement company is his, but he's not the one manufacturing the pills. You're acting like
who cares if he manufactures the pills?
You're acting like he's the only one doing it.
Maybe
it's like saying Apple doesn't make phones because they outsource their manufacturing.
No. It's not the same thing. This iPhone right here, this is an Apple iPhone designed by Apple and then constructed by someone else. If you were to take this phone and buy it generic from somebody else and rebrand it, That's what Alex Jones is doing. So by saying, oh, well, he made his money selling these, yeah, he did. But the InfoWars was around before Sandy Hook happened. He was selling the pills before Sandy Hook happened. Yes, he gained followers from the Sandy Hook thing, and that is a tragedy, is horrible, and he should absolutely be punished for that. But what they are doing is deliberately trying to take out a dissenting voice in the media marketplace. That is what they are trying to do.
Yeah, who's they?
The fucking establishment.
The establishment, because it was actually done by a jury of 12. It was a civil suit, and the jury.
And everything you're basing.
Did Alex Jones have an opportunity to defend himself in this trial?
Everything you're basing this.
Alex Jones did have an opportunity to defend himself. No, he did. He went for years not cooperating with the trial.
No, he did cooperate. He did.
No, he didn't show up every time they tried to depose him. Boom.
No. You know exactly what happened here. You know that it was a discovery issue.
And he had a rotating cast of lawyers.
They would not accept that what he gave them was
he wouldn't show up and talk. And then
because they weren't giving him a fair trial.
So we agree now that he didn't show up when they
sure, but if they're not going to give the guy a fair trial,
and then his argument is that he didn't have a chance to defend himself. No, he didn't show up when they demanded his presence.
Oh my God, you're totally leaving out half the story, but it's neither here nor there. Like you and I are not going to agree on this because I in my opinion,
no, keep duking it out. You'll get to an agreement.
All right. You know what? You want me to say the agreeable phrase here? The establishment.
No.
Okay, no. The establishment media. The establishment media. The establishment political parties, they want to quash dissenting voices. The Democrats did it to Bernie Sanders, and I think that's something we can all agree on. The Democrats did it to Bernie Sanders with the superdelegates issue. Bernie won that primary, and the Democrats went and crushed him. And they do the exact same goddamn thing to media companies. For example, remember when Milo Yiannopoulos got taken out? Yeah. That wasn't the left who took Milo Yiannopoulos out. The right did that. When they find people within their movement that they don't like, they will attack them. They will take them down. And of course, they're going to attack people on either side.
They also have a jury of 12 that I guess they secretly manipulated or paid under the table in some way to get them to award a judgment against him. Like, what is the mechanism that this happened? I get the dark, shadowy lizard people. The establishment got them to take out Alex Jones. Don't compare
what I am saying to the dark, shadowy lizard people. I'm talking about legitimate things. I'm talking about the fact that Stephen Paddock
a jury
killed,
that made
57 people and we don't know why. I'm talking about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein absolutely didn't kill himself, but we keep pretending he did. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you're talking about lizard people.
I'm talking about Alex Jones having a jury settlement awarded against him, and you'd rather talk about anything but that because you don't have any evidence.
Put a guy on the stand. He's not allowed to defend himself, and you just feed the jury information. You get up there and you tell the jury.
What happened was Alex Jones wouldn't show up for his own trial so many times that the judge was forced to order a summary judgment. And then he said that he wasn't allowed to defend himself, when in reality, he wouldn't show up to his own defense. And then he pretends to be the victim.
He was up there on the stand being questioned, not allowed to defend himself to a jury, while the lawyer for the opposition told them they should award the maximum damages to take out his media company.
So what happened in that scenario is he's up there on the stand and they ask him questions, and then he wants to go off about like how Hillary Clinton's a lizard person and make it his own InfoWars episode. And they're like, no. You have to actually answer the questions that have been asked to you. It's to stay on topic, and that's not what he wanted to do.
The opposition's lawyer got shut down by the judge for leading the jury, for telling the jury how they should find this, and to tell the jury like all this information. He got shut down numerous times because he was out of order, because he was out of line. And you're going to sit here and tell me that Alex Jones was the only guy causing problems? Sure, Alex did use the opportunity while he was on stage, knowing he was about to get taken down for everything he's worth, to call out the establishment and the corruption. But everyone's sitting here being like, boo, Alex Jones. He has some valid fucking points, okay? Most of them aren't valid.
Is it the lizard people, the pedophile ring, or the Sandy Hook conspiracy that are his valid points?
The Epstein thing, the pedophile thing. The pedophile thing is completely valid. That is true.
Matt Gaetz, you talking about?
No, Matt Gaetz was being extorted, and you know that. Why are you doing this? Why do you?
I'm just saying he fucked 17-year-olds.
Matt Gaetz, there is absolutely no evidence of that, by the way. That was completely
his Venmo transactions are evidence.
His Venmo transactions that what? He gave a 17-year-old money?
Yeah.
That's evidence? All right, fine. Bill Clinton was on Epstein's private jet to Epstein's private island 26 times. Is that evidence that Bill Clinton molested those children?
I don't know if Bill Clinton did that, but your number's wrong with the 26 times, kind of.
How?
Well, it's because these flights had multiple legs and they kind of exaggerate it. Like, I think there were like 6 trips that turned into like 26 legs.
Okay, fine.
That's where that number comes from.
6 times he went to this island where it was...
No, none of the trips were to the island.
Oh my God. We know he... Holy shit.
If you look at the flight log, literally none of them
I don't have a Jamie to sit here and be like, hey, Jamie, pull that up. But my point here... Yeah, sure. Okay.
Did the flight log show him going to the island? Or does it show him going to
Bill Clinton went
Africa
to the island.
And New York and etc.?
And it doesn't matter because we know that Epstein brought the fucking kids to New York with him.
That might be true. It's just that I was correcting you when you said he went to the island.
All right, wait. So Matt Gaetz Venmoing somebody money is evidence that he molested 17-year-olds. Bill Clinton hanging out. Bill Clinton
said she fucked him.
So did fucking, what was her name? Virginia something?
Who's Virginia?
Virginia Jeffrey, I think is her name.
I don't know this person.
And Prince Andrew's walking scot-free. Bill Clinton's walking free. Fuck, I don't care if Trump was on the flight logs. We should know every single goddamn name in that black book. This is the first time anybody's ever been convicted of sex trafficking without a single client named.
What if it's better for the American people if we don't know, though?
I can see no circumstance under which it is better for the American people that we don't know which of our
it'd be better to know if they were doing that.
What if holding influence over foreign powers allows America to be more prosperous and powerful?
Nope, don't care.
Than making enemies of them.
Don't care.
So I'm with Kyle.
We should not even if
I'm just asking.
Under no circumstances can you protect child predators. Those people should be put through the wood chipper in the public square.
Yeah, there's the greater good.
Right? Even if it means to surrender to communism.
A couple young buttholes and the economy's better.
Nope. Not taking it.
We cover up for our kind around here, goddamn. We're YouTubers.
I don't care whether I do not care whether there's a D or an R next to your name. If you do something like that to a child, you should be shot in the street.
Well, we're not talking about politicians and civilians. We're talking about, like, do we keep this file on the sheik of wherever the fuck stand, because now he's going to sell us his oil just right, and whenever we tell him to. And if we tell him to make this much, he'll make that much. And if we tell him to pour it out on the ground, he will too.
Nope.
Yeah, I'd hang on to them pictures.
I wouldn't.
Flight logs and chic, whoever the fuck would sell me some cheap oil.
If I had that shit, it would be published in the.
What are they gonna do to him if we out him? He's just gonna be embarrassed in the West and like keep doing his thing over there.
Maybe, but at least we said it. That's where I stand on it.
I'll keep it quiet.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not saying Bill Clinton doesn't fuck children. He might. I'm only saying that the flight logs don't have him on the island.
He's got a bad heart. I doubt he's doing it anymore. Chances are.
We need to introduce him to Blue Chew.
With a little Blue Chew, the man can get up to the job.
All right, so we got our Jamie to fact check it. He doesn't. There's no flight log saying he goes to the island.
Okay, so we can go to the island.
But
we have pictures of the victims in Epstein's New York apartment. So if you went to New York with him, fuck it, fine. That's enough.
Is it? I gotta see him in the apartment.
At least be investigated, shouldn't it?
We should see him in the apartment.
We should know which names are in that book.
All I'm hearing right now is he went to New York one time and he flew on a plane. I've been on planes.
You guys cannot be sitting here like.
I don't like Bill Clinton.
You cannot.
But I'm not
about like Bill Clinton.
On one hand, you're wanting to like, come on, don't go after Alex Jones' company.
No.
Don't you know that there are people that work there on the other?
I said punish Alex Jones.
I heard Bill Clinton went to New York one time where his wife's the senator. A likely story.
You guys are pinning something weird on me. I said both of these people should be punished.
Well, because what you do is you're like, maybe we should look at this. And it's like, well, you're insinuating that we should look at that because X, Y, and Z. Like you're kind of implying things, but not standing behind what you're implying.
You went pretty far on Matt Gaetz being innocent, even though
I have
the girl he fucked said he fucked her, and there's the Venmo transaction
and
for it.
And the fucking prosecutors said that they didn't have enough evidence and that the witnesses were unreliable.
That's right. They said the witnesses were unreliable, which I wonder if like this time I'm thinking weird cover up. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe this is my bias coming through, but I'm like, this guy's a sitting member of the House of Representatives. And they're like, you know what? The witness is unreliable. Let's not pursue this case.
If I'm being honest, like, I just don't care because it doesn't matter. They're like, it just doesn't matter.
You know, my thing is this. I think everyone agrees this is consensual. I hate that she's 17, but 17
with the Matt Gaetz
in
thing?
Florida. Yeah, I'm on the Matt Gaetz thing.
Yeah.
If people don't know the details, and I think I have this right, in fast forward, she was 17. She was in college. All her friends were 19. They were on a website where you look for sugar babies. They hired a couple of them. They flew them to wherever, and I think they paid them like $800 or $900 to fuck.
Is that all?
Yeah, and
For how long?
she's like, it was consensual by her part. She lied about her age, right? And so Matt Gaetz is under the impression she was 19. They have their party, they do their thing, and then they bring her back. And they're satisfied customers, and she's a satisfied sex worker. That's like how it went. It turns out that because they traveled for this party, that makes it illegal. Had it been in Florida, it would have been, I think, a little scummy because she's 17.
It is scummy.
But she lied about being 17, and it was only illegal because she crossed lines. And I just feel like it's a bit of a technicality. Like, but it is what it is. And they decided not to prosecute him because they said that the witnesses were unreliable.
Good.
That's what's up. I hear that, and I'm like, I wonder if someone scratched somebody's back. I don't know.
Being scummy is the American fucking way. You want to talk founding fathers? Benjamin Franklin loved getting after it. He was all the time in France, just whores left and right. And 17 would have been old for Benjamin Franklin. Okay,
Is that part true?
A 17-year-old would have walked in.
I don't know. There's necessarily evidence for that, but I wouldn't be shocked.
No, there's not. But it's funny.
17 was definitely
If
not
there's
considered
grass on the
underage in
field,
1700s. But no, I mean, to be very clear about my stance on this, I think Alex Jones should be punished. I think he absolutely should be fined multiple millions of dollars. He should pay for the pain and suffering and all of that. I just worry that what we're seeing here is, and honestly, I think Matt Gaetz should be, investigated to the fullest extent as possible. Bill Clinton too. Fuck Donald Trump. Same thing. All of them. I want investigations into all of these people. But
Trump has a problem. Apparently there's a chick accusing him of rape, and she has the DNA on the dress. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was just ordered to show up for being deposed.
Oh, wait, is that the New York Attorney General one?
Yeah.
Who's losing her race to a Republican right now, and suddenly has a criminal charge to file?
Dude, that is political. I'm torn, right? I mentioned to my wife, I was like, dude, this is politically motivated. She ran on the platform of, I will go after Trump. That makes it politically motivated, right? Like, is this a witch hunt? It could be. And she was like, well, what if she ran on the platform of, I'll take down the mob? Does that make that politically motivated? And I'm like, I hear your counterpoint.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't believe it or like that it's impossible because it's politically motivated. I just am very aware of the fact that it's politically motivated.
I know that this isn't the way the law works. You don't have to prove your innocence. You have to prove their guilt. Yeah. But he could easily prove his innocence by giving him some DNA and proving that it's not his, but he doesn't want to. Instead, he said, she's not my type. And
I don't know.
It's pretty hot. She was totally his type. She was like a blonde, hot woman. And we say the Biden administration has no teeth, but I bet Russia disagrees.
Yeah, I would say so. We're sending scarier and scarier stuff. Yeah. It concerns me a little that we're sending so much stuff because at some point, like,
isn't that our stuff? How much do we have?
We're doing different. We're getting into them in different ways. I think they're doing some lend-lease stuff, right? Where they'll have to pay us back, but they're also just like sometimes Germany will have a bunch of missile defense systems, and so we'll pay Germany to give their systems to the Ukrainians. So there's a lot of that going on, and then obviously Biden got it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 billion so far that he's given to Ukraine. It may be more than that now, and I noticed that Russia's I
think it's way more than that.
Russia's annual defense budget, what they spend on their military, is only 60 or 70 billion. And we've already given a considerable fraction of that to Ukraine this year ourselves, not counting what everybody else has given. It's no wonder the Ukrainians are doing so well. That, and they seem to be much more into fighting than the Russians are.
The Russians just seem bad at it.
They don't want to be there. They don't want to do it.
Centralized command is a problem. Their logistics are a problem. all right, I get it. Motivation is an issue, or morale, I meant to say, is an issue. But it seems like their entire command structure and the idea of just loading it all on trains.
If you can't,
I think motivation was a good word for it.
I can't fight. I cannot fight for you, even if I believe in the cause, unless you keep me fed and warm. There's no way. Not long term. Maybe this week I'll put it in. I'll go hard for you, boss. Hungry and cold, I'll fight all week. But what are we gonna do next week? My feet are rotting off now.
I have no argument against that. You need to feed and warm. Those are core things. You have an ineffective force if you don't have those. I read 1.5 million winter uniforms have gone missing.
I think
that's the other thing. Here's what's going to be great. This is going to show how like third class Russia really is. Winter's coming, which means snow is coming. Everybody's going to have to change uniforms pretty soon. We don't wear green uniforms when there's snow on the ground. We wear white uniforms. Ukraine will have white uniforms. I guarantee it. We're not letting our kid go to t-ball practice without the right cleats. It ain't happening. Russia, on the other hand.
I love that analogy.
I bet they're showing up with some. Dolly Parton has this song called "The Coat of Many Colors," and it's about being so impoverished and so poor that when wintertime came, her mother sewed together all the scraps of cloth around the house and made a coat of many colors. And she sang about how she loved her daughter while she sewed it. And she went to school and they all made fun of her coat of many colors.
It was really just because she was too busty for the normal jackets. Like they had to add like 2 other layers.
But
she had big tits. Fun fact. Has
hot
big tits.
Lady too. Always has, always will. It gives a lot of books to people. Has a nice little theme park in Tennessee if anybody ever wants to go. Dolly would. But in any case, the Russians aren't going to have winter uniforms. They're going to be wearing their greenies, and they're not going to have white uniforms, and it's going to be funny. I guarantee,
drones are going to pick them off constantly.
I don't have that confidence. I think if Russia needs something, I think China's going to give it to them.
No fucking way. No way.
China's not even. They're not acting like friends right now. They're
China needs us involved in this war so that they can fuck around with Taiwan. I think that China's backing off just enough to make it seem like they're not a problem. But I could very much see if Russia gets to a point where they need uniforms, fuel, and food. I could absolutely see China giving it to them.
They've needed all those things for months.
Russia is nowhere near committing its full strength right now. I mean, we saw what they did just this past week with the airstrikes. Russia has been limiting
the
themselves.
only reason Russia's getting embarrassed on the world stage is they're not really trying. That's a solid theory.
I think
the entire world is making fun of Putin. Suddenly he's gone from this badass guy who rides bears and naked or shirtless on horseback. We're all wishing he was our leader. Now he's a fucking joke in platform shoes who's gay. And he's probably just not right?
You heard it here, folks. Vladimir Putin, a homosexual.
I've got some friends who are.
He's on his platform shoes and he's gay. It's like 3rd grade band.
And he's bolder than our president.
Guess what, Putin? You're gay. Take that.
The perception change in Putin. He's an international embarrassment. I think the theory that he's just not really trying and that he's
emperor has no clothes.
I mean, I don't think it's much of a. I don't. Not to get too argumentative about it, but I don't think it's so much of a theory. Is if you look at it objectively, he's not committing his full strength, and I think it's because he wants more of Ukraine than just Donbass. So I think he's trying to avoid a airstrikes on civilian targets kind of war.
Do you think that's why they're giving away so many tanks, because they just don't have enough fuel and they abandon them and they let the tractors tow them away because he just probably doesn't care?
No, I think that he's playing a much longer game. I think this is a war of attrition for him.
This is a long game. Okay, war of attrition.
Look at the United States. If you look at the U.S. right now, when Putin invaded, the entire United States population was very pro-Ukraine. Let's support them. Let's give it all we've got. The world. I think even the Biden administration, the CIA, if I remember correctly, was convinced this war would be over in a month and a half and that Ukraine was going to lose completely. And then it kind of ended up going a lot longer because Ukraine did a much better job of fighting than anybody anticipated. But now we've got U.S. Special Forces on the ground. We have Green Berets in Ukraine. That is, as reported by The Intercept, that is the case right now. The CIA and the Green Berets are both back in Ukraine.
I need a
The Intercept. The Intercept.
I don't know what that means.
It's a news organization.
It's on the
It was founded by Glenn Greenwald. but we've got special forces on the ground. We're more involved than was being led on. So that's one issue with it. And then there's also, if you look over the last 6 months, U.S. Support for the war among the population is rapidly declining. A lot of people are saying, hey, you know, why was aid for Ukraine and a hurricane relief bill for Florida? What the fuck is that? So I think for Putin, there's he's still got options on the table that are not just, I think that at the very beginning, it was a blitzkrieg. That was the goal, was we're going to go in, we're going to overwhelm them, and we're going to get the territory we want. I don't think he ever planned on going west of the Dnieper. But I think he's come to a point where, like, now there's a couple options. Either he can go full throttle and do airstrikes on cities, maybe use tactical nuclear weapons, you know, any number of things. There's the possibility that they're going to route nuclear weapons into Belarus so that Belarus can launch the nukes, which means that Russia didn't do it. I don't know about nuclear weapons at the moment. That seems a bit far-fetched. But the other possibility is if he can just keep the war going and keep the Ukrainians needing more and more assistance from the West, he can bleed the West until.
Oh, you're so wrong about
your
that.
theory is that Russia is going to bleed the West, and your theory is that he's giving away tanks and artillery.
I didn't say he was giving away tanks.
Economy is
he is.
I did not say that though.
You said he was fighting a war of attrition. No, you said he was fighting a war of attrition. You said that he was playing the long game. And what's actually happening is Ukraine will be like low on ammo, then they take over this school or whatever, then they have all the rounds they need. That's not how you win a war of attrition. I'm reminded of this scene in Moneyball where all the baseball experts are like, man, this guy hits really well. When he hits it, the sound of the ball coming off the bat, it dings, it pops. You should see this guy. He's like a fucking tiger with muscle stretched over his skin or whatever. And like they're all Brad. And he's like, and then Brad Pitt's character is like, hey, if he's such a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? Why is he getting on base? I can see his batting percentage. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? And everyone's like, well, you know, you got to hear the ball come off the bat, then you'd be more impressed. If he's such a good fighter, why doesn't he fight good? Right? Why is he losing all this territory? Why is he losing his tanks? And
I think they're holding back.
What are they holding back? Like specifically,
this airstrike last week was like, that was the first time they'd done that. They hadn't done something like that before.
Are you talking about
I understand
about all
like
the cruise missiles they shot.
I understand what he's saying with the cruise missile thing, because I did see something about them shooting way further into Ukraine than they had previously. However, this like idea that Russia could bleed the West, like it's mismatched as far as resources. Like Russia's the one getting bled right now. They just had their main source of income taken out of the equation. Their main bargaining chip over Germany and Western Europe, their supply of energy, seized away from them. They're losing billions of dollars from that. Like and it makes Europe more dependent on us for support and energy. And so like Russia should be fucking freaking out, because on the global stage, they are losing in a serious big way. Like we are seizing more influence from them. So like the bleed them out thing, I definitely don't see that. Like the US is on a geopolitical stage, but fucking Russia. We have an election. Resources.
We have an election in a month that could easily.
No one cares about this topic.
Totally.
No. Okay, so we have an election. You keep talking about the people are going to think this and that, but you're going to have two candidates. Which candidate is going to say, and my opponent, he sends money to those dying children over in Europe that are being killed by Vladimir Putin? Can you believe it? And he's going to stand up and say, yes, and I intend to send more if you elect me. And they're going to stand up and fucking clap, because that's how it works. No one is going to win on the platform of turning the gas off to Ukraine while Vladimir Putin's destroying their infrastructure so they freeze this winter. We're going to give them as much money as we can for as long as they'll take it. And we should relish the opportunity.
When Americans are struggling to pay for groceries, it's not going to keep going.
Run on that platform. You'll be your local mayor. But nobody fucking cares about that jargon when it comes to signing $40 billion over to Ukraine. We're going to do it.
There's a lot of sitting politicians right now who are asking that question, though.
Which ones?
Matt Gaetz, Dan Crenshaw.
There you go. Like I bet there's a bunch of like scary like Republicans that have their seats sewn up and are like provocateurs who will do anything to go anti-Biden. But I doubt there are any people who have elections to win who are going to say boo, because Dark Brandon's out there now and he's feeding the Ukrainians and he's making the Republicans look dumb left and right.
In our election, the Ukraine shit is not going to be a big talking point. Like, you look at what people are surveyed on, what they actually care about. It's all to do with the economy and the consumer price index skyrocketing, people, energy, food. All of this is going up in a way that hasn't been seen in decades.
Roe v. Wade also.
That's what's going to be the big thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. For us, that's what I mean. That would resonate a lot more. Yeah, I agree with you. Then, I don't think the Ukraine thing is going to get brought up that much because people are a lot more concerned with what's going on.
Yeah, I don't see it at any point being like, the Republican candidate gets up there and says, "I want to stop funding the Ukraine war," and the Democrat says, "Well, I want to keep funding it," because that's a losing issue for the Republicans. That would be stupid. But when it comes to
Republicans, if they get back in charge, they will be all about giving the money to Ukraine, and it will be the Democrats the whole time that didn't want to do it. Like, they all do this. They all want to fund it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just the way I'm looking at it is in a situation where the United States continues, being able to have its citizens buy food without a problem, buy gas without a problem, all of that, we would absolutely fund Ukraine indefinitely. But I think there's going to be a lot of people who look at it and they say, all right, well, we just sent $50 billion to Ukraine and Flint doesn't have clean water. We just sent $50 billion to Ukraine and, Florida has just been wrecked by a hurricane and doesn't have the money.
We just put out a new aircraft carrier too. Did y'all see that thing? You know what that costs? Nobody fucking cares. It's cool as shit.
Well, but it was also signed off on a decade ago. Like,
so cool, dude.
It's probably not even cool anymore.
Oh, it's so the other ones? It's the coolest one. It's the newest one ever.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Russia can win the war if the U.S. is involved. I'm saying if they can hold off until the U.S. is no longer involved, they will win. That's what I'm saying.
The U.S. I don't think the U.S. will get involved unless the Russians go and attack a member of the European Union NATO. I don't think they will get involved. I really hope we don't. But I hope we keep sending them anything and everything they want, short of as long as they won't do anything attack Russia on their territory. I did see one thing that was a little worrying. So the Russians claim that they've tracked the path of that truck bomb that took out the bridge. Mm-hmm. And seemingly the explosives came in through the same port that both sides have agreed to leave open for grain shipments.
Yeah.
So it went from there and bounced around behind Russia into Russia and then came over the bridge, and blew up. Right? What's that?
Sevastopol, I think, is the city, the port.
Oh, that I don't know. But I just
conclusion we're to draw from this path. I'm not.
They're not supposed to be put. The agreement disallows weapons going through that port. They're leaving it open so that the grain can flow out of there and the world doesn't starve. And Russia and Ukraine and everybody else has agreed. Okay, leave that one open. So if they moved explosives through there to blow up Russia's bridge, that's not something that's good for anybody.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. Did you see it? All right. Let's talk bombs because I've made a bunch of them.
Let's talk bombs.
Was awesome. That was awesome. So I choose to believe that what they had there was 5,000 pounds of high explosives, like artillery shells and stuff like that, or something.
It wasn't just like a Timothy McVeigh bomb.
No.
Okay.
And then something about this, and I choose to believe they did it on purpose. They hit those rail cars full of fuel that are adjacent, over there, and immediately hit 7 or 8 of them, rupturing them, and that's what caused all that fire. So they fucked both sides up.
That's a good point. My dumbass didn't even consider it wasn't a coincidence that there was a train full of fuel next to the explosion.
It must have been shooting shrapnel. Is what I'm saying. I'm imagining shells. If you just have I don't know, a big pile of C4, for example, that doesn't shoot as much shrapnel. The truck goes everywhere. It kind of vaporizes. But if those fuel things are getting ruptured at that distance, which looks like 70 meters or something, maybe less, whatever, there's shrapnel, lots of stuff is hitting it, and it happened immediately, popped them and ruptured them.
But it would have been fine if it wasn't gas train day, right?
the trucks can't go across the bridge now, the semi trucks. I think maybe they're letting them over 1 or 2 at a time because they're worried about the fucking vibrations on the road that's left. So it's fine for mom and pop to drive over, but these trucks full of food and military stuff and just supplies that normally go into Crimea to fill their stores.
Did they shut the channel down for food? So this channel is where
there are 900
part where the boats go.
Yeah.
There are 900 semi trucks in a line waiting to go across this bridge right now on the wrong side of Crimea.
If I understand it right now, if you were to take a current picture, there'd be a barge next to it repairing the bridge. and not vehicles passing over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Just to really quickly be very clear, I don't want Russia to win. I do want Ukraine to win. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Like that.
Yeah,
I'm just like. I'm
we need
about the
simple
situation,
binary answers here.
But yeah, I want Ukraine to win. I hope Ukraine wins, but I'm also just like I'm very cautious about
Ukraine's going to win.
Believing how much they're winning.
I'll take that vote too if anyone wants to take a vote on Ukraine winning. I think Ukraine's going to. They may end up with less territory than they had, but not by a significant amount. Not like those 4 territories that he's annexed and all of Crimea. Like it ain't going to be that. Where they're getting more of that back, and they're getting peace, and they're.
If the U.S. stays involved, there's, I would say, like 1% chance, like Russia has any shot of winning. Yeah. If we're involved, even just pouring money and resources, like, just doesn't seem like they can keep up. Like they don't have that capacity. No. Maybe I'm wrong. I also don't know fucking anything about any of this. So who knows?
You have a platform. You're required to speak on this topic.
I that's what I do. I speak authoritatively about things I saw in passing while playing Magic.
We talked before about who took out the Nord Stream pipeline. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There is an argument to be made that Putin did it.
I
don't think that makes sense to me. It makes. I mean, like I think we talked about it on PKM. Like you just look at like who wins the most from it and who loses the most. Like Russia takes the biggest of L's, losing that money and that bargaining power. Meanwhile, who's coming up, smelling like daisies? The U.S., who now is getting more control over Europe's energy. We're going to offer to fill in that gap, I guarantee. And, Russia, sorry, Putin, billions of dollars that you just spent on that infrastructure. Oops, it's not paying off, is it? Because now you can't do that. And you can't hold your energy providing over the head of Europe to get them to do what you want.
Pipeline's $25 billion.
Because that's why Germany wasn't giving money to Ukraine, because Germany was afraid of Russia. And so now this being eliminated, like
he wants the German people to not support this Ukraine war. He wants their prices to go up. He wants them to be freezing. He wants them to have an energy crisis. So Putin wants to stop selling energy to Germany. But he can't just stop selling it. Otherwise, the solution is easy. Replace.
He doesn't
Putin.
want to stop selling energy to Germany. He makes a ton of money, billions doing that.
He wants Germany. He was trying to break the will of Germany. That's the argument that people make. He wants the German people to stop supporting their government's support of Ukraine. And
how counter argument. I mean, today I read that Putin offered to continue giving Germany gas through Nord 2, right? The other pipeline. And they said,
does that thing exist?
No, both the Nord Stream pipelines got hit. That's the thing is, prior to
one of them's open.
Neither of them were even actually transporting natural gas to Germany when they went out. Apparently they haven't been transporting natural gas to Germany for a little while. So that's the question is like, why would Putin hit his own pipeline that was already not transporting gas? Like it just
it
was
transporting gas to Europe. Like I saw the gas bubbling up, right? There's gas in there.
To use it as a threat, he would go, I'm turning your gas off. He wouldn't destroy his own infrastructure.
There's a problem. You can't do that because then the solution is put in someone other than Putin who will turn the gas back on. By breaking the pipeline, he gets to stop selling it and he gets to keep his job. By breaking the pipeline, he's removing the influence he held over Europe by being their principal provider of energy. When those pipelines are destroyed, now Germany doesn't feel the threat of the gas being turned off or turned down because it's already been taken off the table. But now he's executed on that threat. The German people will go cold this winter. The German people will not want to participate.
He could have done that anyway with turning it down and not destroying tens of billions of dollars.
Then Putin puts himself at risk because they'll put someone in that chair who will turn it back on.
What makes you think that?
By breaking the pipeline, he gets to have his cake and eat it too. He gets to stop selling it to Germany, and he gets to not be under threat of them finding someone who will sell it to Germany.
No, he's bombing his own cake and feeding the remainder to the United States. If that's what he was doing, like that, he's destroying he's destroying his principal source of income in the middle of wartime. Like he needs that fucking money.
Yeah. But the pipelines were switched off when they were hit. Neither of them was transporting gas to Germany. And if I remember correctly, they actually had a whole thing with Austria a couple weeks ago where they almost shut off their gas shipments through Austria to Italy because they wanted to make sure they were actually going to Italy and not getting rerouted to Germany, because Germany is
I'm a little
country
confused.
with the energy crisis.
So when you say it wasn't going to Germany, do you mean that Germany wasn't purchasing the oil that's clearly being shipped to their country? I know it's going elsewhere, right? It's going to
the Nord Stream pipelines were not. They were switched off.
Then why was it leaking that enormous?
They had
amount?
methane. They had methane in them to
Why
keep the pressure. I don't know. I just sent you I sent the article.
I don't want to read an article right now.
It's from AP. It's pretty short.
I want to be spoon fed.
But the point is they were not transporting oil or gas through the pipeline.
Well, is that relevant though?
Because
that they weren't there, that there wasn't gas moving through it at that instance. That doesn't change the fact that Germany was planning on getting some gas out of there at some point this winter when it got cold, right?
They always have.
I could be wrong. My understanding was that the pipeline, like whatever agreement they had, the pipeline was not transporting gas, and that's why it was kind of confusing. This happened. It does have methane in it to keep it pressurized, but again, I'm not a gas expert. Like, I don't know how this shit works.
Yeah, but still, I don't understand. Like that's their pipeline. It's where they get their gas. They didn't have it turned on today. Irrelevant.
My understanding is that it has been switched off for a while. That's just according to the I don't know why. Like,
you're making these points and I feel like you're getting at something, but I don't know what it is. And
all right, so here we go. In this specific case, when it got, and here's why I'm skeptical about everything, but in this case, it had been shut off for a 3-day maintenance issue. So according to this article.
So according to this article, in recent weeks, it had been running at 20% of capacity.
Yeah.
I don't know what to conclude from that. I'm with Kyle on there. Like, it's running at 20% capacity. Does that just mean they didn't need 100%? They couldn't do 100%? Like,
that's all the Russians were giving them because they've been
I would imagine it's all the Russians were giving them because Germany did want more. Like, Germany's got all those fucking ads and shit out there now. Like, you don't need hot showers. Like, conserve energy. Do this. Like, their costs are going up greatly.
Yeah, because
that's what I like. That's why it makes sense to me, at least, that like those Nord Streams are a huge bargaining chip and income source for Putin, and for him to lose that weakens him dramatically.
I can't remember what China pays per barrel of oil, but I don't think it's what they get from Germany at all. I think it's a significant discount. Can you fact check me on that, Zach? Because I think I read something the other day that the Chinese were paying like way less. Like, they would much rather sell their shit to Europe than the Chinese.
I could.
My understanding is that now they're selling it to China, and China is then shipping it to Europe or some shit like that. Something ridiculous.
That's so China.
Oh yeah, the Russians make money, the Chinese make money, and then Europe is just fucked because they shut down their nuclear plants.
I'm surprised China. The U.S. military is not buying it for an extra high price.
We're also selling our strategic oil reserve to China. Like,
to China?
Yeah. Biden sold something like a fifth of our strategic oil reserve recently, and I think it was like 1 million barrels of it went to China, if I remember correctly.
Why would we do that?
Who fucking knows? Like he's been emptying the strategic oil reserve to keep gas prices low. The oil reserve is lower than it has been since like 1945 or something.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
1945, classic good year.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, it was probably high because we were in the war was ending, so we stopped holding on to so much, right?
China being at the top here.
It's supposed to be like during peacetime, it's supposed to maintain a certain number of barrels.
Makes sense.
And I guess now we decided this is not peacetime anymore. For us.
So are our prices, like, they're anticipating it's going to go up?
It's anticipated that after the midterms, our prices are going to skyrocket. If the Republicans, I don't think it matters if the Republicans win or not. Basically, they're suggesting that they're keeping gas prices low so that gas isn't an issue for the midterms. And then I think the Saudis just released a statement, which it's the Saudis, so you can only trust it as far as you're willing, but basically saying that Biden or the U.S. requested that, and when you hear U.S., read State Department. So the Biden State Department requested that they hold off on cutting production for a month. Which
they asked him to hold off on the announcement for a month. Like, okay, I know you're gonna fuck us by lowering your oil output, but can you do it after the midterms?
Yeah, exactly. Which is what Trump got impeached for. But they're all fucking crooks. Exactly. Every single one of them.
They are all crooks.
So I don't mind talking about it, but I know they're done with it.
Do you want to talk about Colby Covington more, or is that right?
Oh, I just think that's so hilarious. He's such a fucking good troll. He knows how to inject himself so well into those scenarios. That's really good trolling on his part. Kanye might get canceled for real. Black people are kind of done with him. White people are signing off now. That I got a feeling that a big part of Kanye's audience is white people. Like I would say I believe probably 65-70% of his like money audience, people who pay to like get his shit, is white people, and then the rest is other people's. But he's turned off both groups now. I
think JP Morgan debanked him. Like
they dropped him.
His Yeezy banking away.
Yeah, he's got until the end of November to find a new bank.
Man.
Last week, I predicted that Kanye wouldn't get canceled. That he's just a special guy. Everyone looks at him through a different lens, and he can wear a White Lives Matter shirt, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just Kanye being Kanye, right? He says weird things."
Dropping the Jews directly into conversation was not a good move on his part.
I didn't. I saw that he tweeted that he was going to go after Jews, and I saw
never a good thing to say.
Is it DEFCON 3?
DEFCON 3,
but I
said death, not deaf, which was also not great.
And then he was on Tucker Carlson, and Zach has the tweet. I'm going to read it. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda.
Can I throw out a couple things about the terminology DEFCON 3? Okay, so first of all, he's a rapper. He's all about like changing the way words work, and he's a self-proclaimed genius. So I'm just going to assume that he knows that it's actually DEFCON, DEF. And I don't know what DEF. I bet it's an acronym or it stands for something, maybe defensive posture or something. And anyway, any case, 3 is a lower thing than 1. DEFCON 1 is when we're launching nukes, I think. It's when like the world's about to end.
And 5 is the most chill. So for him to go to 3, he's kind of in the middle. It's like we're observing thing. I'm going to go mild on this tomorrow.
I'm going to give this some thought tomorrow, everyone. You're right. Yeah, 3. What the hell?
It goes
not a very good number.
I'm pretty sure that 90% of the time that Kanye tweets something, he's not entirely sure what he's talking about. So
yeah.
Honestly, the fact that you said deaf and death, if he picked the number 3, he doesn't know any of that stuff.
See, that's where I am. I don't know because
because you'd either go 1 or
you've
5.
heard his music though. He's capable of this kind of like lyrical like he could be making a pun there. Sure. He could be saying
I don't know much about
by
Kanye.
Going DEFCON because maybe saying death and con as in conning you out of something. Maybe he's trying to say something there. Between the lines, you're supposed to read into.
Is he playing 3D chess or not, or is he dumb, or is he outsmarting?
The only thing he is good at is writing and like being a wordsmith. Like that's his thing. Like he sells those hideous clothes, those stupid fucking shoes, the like social media nonsense.
I do not like his clothes.
All of that is bad. The only thing he can do is write. And you're gonna tell me he doesn't know that it's DEFCON? I don't know. Maybe he's just an idiot, and I'm
it could
wrong,
be.
But...
I think you made an excellent point with the number 3 thing. If he was familiar with the term DEFCON, he would have gone like DEFCON 5. Time to start fact finding, or like, or he'd be like DEFCON 1. I'm gonna get real on Facebook Live tomorrow.
We going nuclear on the Israelis tomorrow. DEFCON 1. Like if he said that, like. I'd have understood that he understood things, but I think he's actually mentally ill. I saw them on CNN. They were saying mental illness is no excuse for anti-Semitism. And I was like, isn't it?
Seems like it actually is, though.
I was caught off guard.
Did you see he was on Tucker Carlson's show and that they edited out the parts where he was crazy? So he and Tucker were talking. Anytime he hit a talking point that, say, Tucker's been hitting for years, they kept it in the show. Anytime he said something wackadoo that they wanted to, not portray him as a mentally ill, crazy person, they edited it out and it was left on the cutting room
There was a part where he said something. He was like, how they, and you know what? I just said that, and they gonna interpret that a different way, and that ain't what I meant. Could we edit that out? And he was like, yeah, no problem. And then it's like, I'm reading this on the toilet. Y'all suck. like I feel bad for Kanye in that, because if we're gonna have an interview where he's gonna be like, you know what, that came out wrong. That ain't what I mean. That's just what fell out of my mouth right now. And can we take that out? If he took it out of the broadcast, but how does it get leaked? Because in that instance, I feel bad for him.
We don't edit this, but you can expand on this and explain what you really mean.
How did it get leaked though? Like he did it. It's not in the broadcast.
Well,
but I've got the transcript.
It's out
on my phone.
Yeah, right.
Fox leaked it. Same thing that went on with that punch at the basketball practice. Got leaked by an insider.
They still don't know how that's leaked.
They need to find whatever staffer suddenly has a new Benz. That's whoever's driving around in their new Mercedes-Benz TMZ money, because I'm sure they made a lot from that.
They're like, it must be. I think they got paid $170,000. Maybe Zach can fact check that.
Are you guys familiar with the second half of that tweet though? What he was talking about with the black people are the real Jews thing?
Yeah,
with Kanye. No, I've heard
black Hebrew Israelites thing.
Yeah. I've seen videos of the Hebrew Israelites. Very aggressive. They do not. They don't care for white people. It's
very and it's weird stuff that's rooted in pseudo history and all that. I had a whole thing on TikTok earlier this year and late last year where I was arguing with this woman who claimed Rome didn't exist. And yeah, that's a conspiracy theory.
It's there today.
Yep. She claims that the city of Rome was built in 1515 AD or something like that.
Okay, well, she's just nonsense.
Oh, no, she's absolutely
You can go
insane.
back to Charlemagne in 800 and see that he's making his coins look like Roman coins because he wants to stand up the old standards.
But
he wants
that's
to emulate the status quo.
This woman had 100,000 followers who wholeheartedly every single one of her videos were like, thank you for preaching the truth. The world needs to I'm sure there was some of them in there trolling, but for the most part, because she would delete any comment that did not agree with her. It was hilarious.
That's after the fall of Rome, those Germanic tribes kept putting Roman fucking faces on their coins for 100 years.
It makes no sense. But that kind of pseudo history and stuff, when people get deep enough into it and they don't have the education to know it's wrong, or they assume that the reason you're after that person is because they're a woman, which was me. My case was apparently I'm sexist for calling you out on being batshit insane. But that infects people's minds and they start to believe it. And if you're not constantly shutting that shit down, and I'm not saying to censor it or make sure people aren't allowed to say it or whatever, but somebody's got to be out there being like, okay, fun fantasy story you've got there, but no. Otherwise, you get to things like Kanye West saying it's DEFCON 3 on Jews. If you don't nip that in the bud, it becomes a very, very big problem.
Is the Black Israelite thing, or is it something different that white people are demons, not real people?
I mean, it all rolls into the same kind of Black Hebrew Israelite, Hotep, all of that different stuff. All does come from a Black supremacy standpoint. And any kind of racial supremacy, in my opinion, is just really fucking stupid because
sure,
people are people, and people have their things that they're good at and things that they're bad at. Somebody being black is not going to make them bad at math. That's kind of where I lean on. It's people are individuals. There's 7 billion of us.
I'm really interested in what evidence there being that Rome isn't there right just now.
There's no evidence. Oh no, she believes that Rome is currently there.
I can find a live feed.
Woody, haven't you been to Rome? Isn't that?
He believes he's been to Rome.
Yeah. I saw it. It's there.
This lady was arguing that half of Rome was constructed by Mussolini in the 1930s.
She's a troll, man. She's a troll.
I wish
I
she
choose
was
to believe. So
That's
I
insane.
think that smart people who are good at making arguments have a real problem with their time being wasted by two forms of people: the mentally ill and trolls. Okay, if you're a person who's capable of realizing that all of the many reasons why Rome existed, you're at least of average or above average intelligence, and that should be utilized elsewhere than disproving a mentally ill / troll. Because
it's
one or the other.
Off of it,
no one with sound mind who's put any amount of like effort into studying the thing like thinks Rome didn't fucking exist. That's crazy talk. That's silliness. That's a joke.
All it would take is one example of them being like, hey, new evidence reveals Sparta not as old as previously thought. And then you'd have a million billion of this going around like, and the pyramids? Oh, I bet there is one for the pyramids.
The pyramids are older. All right. So I believe the pyramids are much older than we think they are.